so that the people in their wretchedness, hungry and unemployed, swarm in their thousands into the Nazi organization. The brown shirts become an army, the private army of a single man.
A man who aspires to become dictator of Germany.
Dictator of Europe itself.
But many serious Germans still hold him suspect.
The problem is solved in one stroke, the Reichstag. Germany's parliament building catches fire on the night of February the 27th, 1933, a few days before the so-called elections, which were to confirm or otherwise Hitler's accession to the chancellorship.
The communists are proclaimed the culprits.
Hitler and his men declared it was meant to be a signal for a Bolshevist revolution. It was, of course, necessary to produce the actual perpetrators of the fire. So a young Dutch half-wit named Marinus van der Lubbe, found by the police in the burning ruins,
although there were no witnesses to his arrest except the police,
is made the chief incendiary and put on trial.
The others arrested are 3 Bulgarian communists, Dimitrov, Popov, and Tanev. He voluntarily surrenders when he hears he is accused of complicity.
The trial is a mockery, a solemn legal farce.
Van der Lubbe has to...
One day, van der Lubbe shakes off his torpor.
How many more times have I got to say it? Yes, I set fire to the Reichstag. I've said it hundreds of times. This has been going on for 8 months now, this torture. I've no strength left. I can't stand it. Yes, I set fire to the Reichstag. I did it myself. Now sentence me and leave me in peace.
Van der Lubbe is condemned to be beheaded. The others, except Torgler, are set free.
So Hitler is confirmed as chancellor. He announces his policy. To the workmen, more wages. The employers, no strikes. To the small shopkeepers, legislation against the big stores. To mothers and children, protection against child labor.
Promises. Promises that would have placed a whole nation in chains of slavery.
The parade-maddened public acclaim him. Ovation succeeds ovation, but his megalomania is still not satisfied. One obstacle yet remains in the way of his ambition.
Hindenburg is president of the republic, and it must not be forgotten that Germany is a republic. The old marshal is a legendary figure of the Great War, a national hero, a national idol still, and behind him is the German army.
As yet untouched by the taint of Nazism.
But Hindenburg is old, very old, and Hitler knows he cannot live much longer. So he decides to become president too, and thus sole ruler of Germany.
Then to remilitarize the nation on a scale never before known to mankind.
First, however, he must deal with trouble in his own ranks. He hears of plotting. Hindenburg names General von Schleicher as his successor.
Hindenburg has no love for Hitler. He despises him as a gas man.
General von Schleicher and Captain Ernst Röhm, swashbuckler and perverts, join together in a strange alliance to overthrow Hitler.
Hitler acts as always, instantly and without mercy. General Goering is given the task of cleaning up Berlin, and his first target is the man who stands between his chief and the final fulfillment of his ambition.
General von Schleicher?
Well?
You've seen nothing, you've heard nothing. If not,
victims are hounded out and shot down in scores.
Some are told that their arrest was a mistake. They are freed.
Shot while attempting to escape was the official excuse.
Heil Hitler!
Hitler sends me that.
Yes, he hasn't forgotten you were once his friend.
It's very nice of him.
He wants to save you the fate usually reserved for traitors. He doesn't like to think of stormtroopers walking around boasting of having shot the great Captain Roan.
You mean he wants me to commit suicide? Well, I won't take it. I won't make it easy for him by committing suicide. You can tell him he'll have to murder me, too. He'll have to finish the job himself to make it thoroughly worthy of him. I don't want his mercy. I want a dozen bullets in my guts, like my friends.
I'd advise you to think it over.
Hitler is no master of the situation.
And within only a few weeks, Hindenburg has the good grace not to exhaust his rival's patience.
He takes leave of life on the 2nd of August, and prolonged obsequies are ordained, culminating in the funeral at Tannenberg.
The German papers that announced the president's death at the same time published the text of a law adopted the day before,
While Hindenburg was still living.
decreeing Hitler president and chancellor.
The same day, German troops are compelled to take a strange new oath.
An oath of fidelity to Hitler personally.
I swear by God this sacred oath that I will render unconditional obedience to the leader of the German Reich and people, Adolf Hitler, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and that I will, as a valiant soldier, at all times be ready to stake my life for this oath.
And while the German people mourn the passing of the great marshal, the Austrian upstart secured himself finally in position as head of the German state.
All that remains is the election.
To confirm his succession,
The people must decide.
A foregone conclusion under the mass attack of Goebbels' hysterical propaganda.
Hitler is duly confirmed.
More acclamations.
more ovations.
But the public expects more than this. They want the fulfillment of all those pledges.
Hitler cannot deliver.
But he can and does dope his dupes with growing doses of anti-Semitism.
He puts into effect his theory of racism, according to which only the 100% Aryan is worthy of living and propagating his kind in Germany.
How different from the ideal are the leaders themselves.
Hitler, thinking far ahead, sets out to capture the youth of Germany. But Hitler, who has made racism the foundation of National Socialism, cannot be sure that he himself is a true Aryan.
His father was the natural son of a young woman named Schicklgruber, and he nearly came to bear that name himself.
Could he have become the master of Germany if that had been the case? Instead of Heil Hitler, imagine the Nazi salute, accompanied by the ridiculous chant,
Heil Schicklgruber! But as it happened, an old man, Johann Georg Hitler, at the age of 84, acknowledged as his son Adolf Hitler's father, the illegitimate Alois Schicklgruber, at that time 39 years old.
Was old Johann Georg Hitler really the man to whom Maria Anna Schicklgruber, the farm girl, had surrendered 40 years previously?
Famous men, if they are Jews, are forced to flee their country.
3 Nobel Prize winners.
Einstein,
James Frank.
Freud.
all have to go.
And should the fever show signs of abating, it can readily be whipped up again.
Shops are branded and then broken into.
Wrecked.
Plunder.
Any attempt at resistance is a signal for a beating. A collective fine is imposed on all the Jews in Germany. A total sum running to millions of marks.